Okay, we're live. Roy's ready, and then we're all ready. The video is a little crooked. Hold on. Let's put this like this. Okay. Ready, everybody? Here we go. The question is, this is Yehave Daat. Every week, Yehave Daat. Hebra. Every week, we only read Yehave Daat. Yehave Daat, Hafam Vada Yosef. Sfaradi Halakha. There's 6 books in this set. This is book 5, Helek, and it is Siman 59. And the question is as follows. She'ela. Mi shehal yom pikudat hashana shel petirat aviv or imo b'mei hachol. Someone who has yartzeit, azkara this week. Hayim tzarich le'atchil l'mal kaddish hachel mileh Shabbat shelefanav. Does he have to start saying kaddish from the Shabbat before the yartzeit? Ad oto hayom, until the day, ve'ad bichlal, including the day of the yartzeit. Kifi sherabim nohagim, like this is the custom. Is it a good custom? Or dai l'mal kaddish be'oto hayom bilbad, or is it enough just to kaddish only on the yartzeit day and not the whole week before? Second question. V'ha'im yesh leha'adif aliyat mashlim b'shabbat shelefnei yom ha'petira kedei l'mal kaddish. Should you try to purchase mashlim in the aliyah of the Shabbat before the yartzeit, which has a kaddish with it for the neshama, or adif yoter la'alot maftir v'lekrot ha'haftara b'navi, or should I buy haftara and get maftir? Which one should I do better for someone's mother or someone's father? That's the question. Okay, and so we're not going to do every single word, but we'll skip around and give you the basic idea. And so the first idea he says is as follows. Ikad, what is Kaddish all about? And so Ikad bin Had Amilat Kaddish, Le'elu Nishmat HaHorim HaNiftarim. What is the whole purpose of Kaddish? How did it start? So it's really, so the Torah had a Kodesh. It's really an old and authentic custom of the Jewish people. It says in Mizech Kalara Bati, and this story is brought in a lot of different versions. The Zohar has one version. There's different versions. The Mahazor Vitri has another version with different details. But the basic story goes like this. Ma'aseh, this is the story from the way the Mizech Kalara Bati says it. Ma'aseh b'Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva one time, he was doing meditation in the desert, far away in the desert. He was doing in his head, Hazara, reviewing his learning. He bumped into a guy, Arum, he was naked, he was all covered in like charcoal, black. Right? No, charcoal. It means over here, black from burning. He was burnt like in a fire. And he was running like a horse, and he had bundles of wood on his shoulders. And so Rabbi Akiva tells this guy, what are you doing over here? Why are you naked? Why are you burnt black like charcoal? Why gave to somebody? Can I help? He'll say he was a tax collector and he was a very evil guy. He stole people's money. And therefore, my decree in heaven was that every day I have to go down to the earth. I have to collect wood for them to burn me with that wood every single day. And I repeat, step and repeat, every single day, the same story. So Rabbi Akiva says, how do you get out of this mess? And so he says, they said in Shamayim, in the court, that if I had a child would say Kaddish for me, and people after his Kaddish, they would get and end the sentence and send me to relax. And so the story goes, he says, where's the child? He says, I don't know. Some people say his wife, when he died, doesn't even know what the kid is. And so Yaakov goes and reads you the whole thing, but Yaakov goes and finds the kid, and they didn't even have Brit Milah. Nothing. He didn't have nothing. He found it. He taught the kid. Good tutor, Yaakov. He eventually gave the kid Brit Milah, and the kid had to say Kaddish. He brought the kid to shul. Everyone said, yeah, this guy came to Rabbi Akiva in a dream and said, thank you, I'm free. And so we see the power of Kaddish. Akiva taught him Kaddish. And if you look at the Zohar, it says, Rabbi Akiva he taught him how to say the haftara. Now, a child under 13 is allowed to go for maftir. From the Ikar Adin, you can send a child for maftir. Maftir is not one of the main aliyot. Mashlim means finished, right? Word mashlim is just completed. Maftir is an additional thing that we added on from the rabbis. And so therefore, he taught the child how to read haftara, says the Zohar. Okay. Now, it says in the Zohar that the guy appeared to him in a dream. Rebbe, HaKadosh Baruch Hu yinachimcha k'fi shenihamtani. Hashem should console you just like you consoled me. V'sha'ah she'amad b'ni haftarah, when my son said the haftarah in shul, hefkiu mimeni din Gehinam. They took me completely out of Gehinam. V'sha'ah she'abar l'palel v'amad Kaddish, and then when he was saying Kaddish, kar'oli gezat dino mikol v'kol. They tore up the decree. So the double whammy of Kaddish plus the haftarah knocked the thing out. Okay. It says in the Kobo, in his version of this story, either one. So the question is over here, which one is better, the Kaddish or the Navi, the Haftarah? Rabbi Chaim Vital writes, in the name of the Arizal, the reason why we say Kaddish, Arizal says it's not all about taking your loved one from, God forbid, from Gehinam. That's not what it's all about. You say Kaddish, it picks him up a notch, or picks her up a notch in Gan Eden, and it raises them. Therefore, says the Arizal, where there's no Gehinam. There's no Gehinam on Shabbat and Yom Tov. The question Yom Tov is Yom Tov here. It's a question. Shabbat definitely is no Gehinam. Even on those days, you should say Kaddish. Why? It's not only about negating bad things. It's about giving your parents good things. Positive nahat in Shabbat. Okay. And therefore, says Rav Chaim Vital, the student of the Arizal, Shechin Nahag the Arizal, the custom of the Arizal personally, was Lomad Kaddish b'yom Petirat Aviv. The Arizal only said Kaddish on the yartzeit, the one day. Hamital says. Okay, we're going to skip ahead and do another thing. From the Hamital, even though the Arizal only did the one day, the yartzeit Kaddish. In the Sefer Shalmei Sibud, he writes, "Va'ani kabalti sheyesh lomar Kaddish b'Shabbat shlefnei Yom Petirat Ha'av La'im." He said you should say Kaddish the whole week before the yartzeit, like we do. The fisher ikad aliyat haneshamot ta'alot me'adugah ha'madiyah began Eden b'Shabbat shlefnei Yom HaPetira k'mvu'ad b'Zohar. Because he says, according to the Zohar, when is the main time they lift the soul? The Shabbat before the yartzeit. On the yartzeit, it's a big day, but on the Shabbat before the yartzeit, it's also a big day where the soul gets a special lift. And therefore, you want to start saying your Kaddish on the Shabbat before. If you look at the Rosh, the Baal Turim, who is the son of the Rosh, he writes, "Va'ateret Roshi Adoni Abi HaRosh, my father the Rosh, haya noheg lo'omar Kaddish al Abi ve'imo miyom HaShabbat shel Yom HaPetira midei Yom Yom." He said it for the whole week before. U've'el hayamim haya omed l'tpalel k'shliach tzibur. He was Hazan. Being Hazan is another thing you could do for your parents. If you know how to be Hazan, the Ashkenazim do this. Chabad for sure they do this. If someone has yartzeit, they call it a chiyuv, right? If someone has a chiyuv, they call it obligation. That's the word they use. They are Hazan they'll even break up minyan. You ever see that? They have 3 guys that have yartzeit, they'll make 3 minyanim. So that every single one can say Hazan. You ever see that before? Yeah, they do it. So that everyone can be Hazan for their parents. A good thing. Very good thing to be Hazan if you know how for the yartzeit of the parents. Okay. Now, va'afilu im hal liyot b'yom petirat abi ve'imo b'yom Shabbat, if the yartzeit falls out on Shabbat itself, what would he do? Rabbi the Rosh, hayamathilu mal Kaddish b'yom Shabbat shelefanav. The question is, if the yartzeit is Shabbat, if the yartzeit is Shabbat, we said that the neshama goes up the Shabbat before the yartzeit. What if the yartzeit is Shabbat? Does it go up that day, or does it go back a week before? The Rosh held it went back a week before. Not only that day, a week before, the Shabbat before. Okay. The Ben Ish Chai agrees with this. And the Ben Ish Chai writes that this is the reason the Ben Ish Chai writes, this is the reason why we say Kaddish for a week before. After he writes, this custom is not such a great custom. It doesn't have solid foundation. It's the best thing to do it a week before. You don't have to, he said. Okay. Now, Ben Ish Chai finishes and writes, even though the custom, you don't have to really say Kaddish for a whole week before the yartzeit, Yesh bazeh mishum kibud ava'im. It's honoring your parents. So even if it does nothing for the soul extra, it's still honoring the parents. Since this already became the custom in Jewish people, it's for a week. Therefore, if you don't do it for your parents, it's not nice to your parents. Why should they be different than anybody else? So there's an element of kibud ava'im. Which prayer do you start with? Friday night before Alenu, you do the Barichu Kaddish. That's the one that you start with. Okay, let's skip ahead. The Ben Ish Chai writes in Rav Pa'alim, which is his questions and answers shoot, his She'el Shubot, he writes, since when you say Kaddish, it gives a nahat. Therefore, someone who misses even one Kaddish, his parents are in Shemaim, they're waiting for it, they want to hear it, they want to hear Kaddish. To say all the Kaddishes. There is no greater way to honor the parents, says the Ben Ish Chai, than saying Kaddish. Therefore, says the Ben Ish Chai, from the beat of the week before. Therefore, you should start. And the people like to hear his voice. You should be Hazan. Ben Ish Chai says, being Hazan, if you know how to, and you're good, and the people like you, is greater than Kaddish. The Ben Ish Chai says. Okay. Now he has a little thing on the bottom here. I'm not going to read it word for word. Basically, what he's trying to say is, sometimes there's a thing called actually ruin. You're trying to fix things and you ruin anything. Like me, I'm not very handy. I try to fix the toilet that's broken in my house. I'm going to make it worse. So you have to know yourself. You have to know if you're good or not. He says down here, interesting. He says this week's parasha happens to be. We said no. Sohad ta'asir tevat. Sohad is a light. Ta'asir tevat you have to make for the ark. That's what Hashem said. Make a light, make a window or a diamond. And so the coin of the words is Sohar ta'asir teva. Downstairs, the Hazan prays on the teva. That's what it's called. Gotta make light to the shul. If you're gonna make the shul dark and make everyone miserable because of your prayer, then forget about it. Don't do it. And he says, Yesh anashim hakofsim berosh. Some people they jump. They call im haftarah. They want to read the haftarah for their loved ones. They want to do it. The menuchat horehem umedavagim hatzian shel tevot. They skip half the letters, half the words. They swallow all the words because they're not good at reading. It's not their fault, they're just not so great. It's better not to do it. He says, better not to do it. Save your money and use it for something else. Which he says, save your money and go help poor people. He said they're causing problems. Instead of an oneg, they're causing a nega. They switch the letters around. Instead of oneg, pleasure, they're causing a nega, which is an affliction. God forbid. Check out these words. It's almost very close to being that the beracha and the haftarah is lebatala. With the blessing haftarah, I'm not reading haftarah. So I'm not reading the words correctly. And the whole kahal is relying on your beracha. You're messing up the words. It's better the money you spent on the haftarah. Give them to poor people or people who are learning. Okay, so you have to be careful. You have to know your place and if you're good or not. Now we move to the second part of the question. This is just explaining what the value of Kaddish is. So we know Kaddish's value and Haftarah's value. The second question is, what's better, maftir or mashlim? Again, if I get mashlim, I get Kaddish. If I get maftir, most times I don't get Kaddish, once it's a holiday. Mashlim has Kaddish, yeah? If I get maftir on Shabbat, there's no Kaddish. Only on a holiday, the second Torah would have a Kaddish. Right? So let's see. Well, you lose the Kaddish. You lose the Kaddish if you don't.
The Kaddish, not a Kaddish for more than Kaddish.
That's the question. Do they get
more of a Chazak Kaddish?
Yes, so that's a good question. So do they get nahat? I'm sure they do get nahat. Which one do your parents want better? Put it this way. Hasn't it? So this sounds like no. Yeah, it could be. But the actual
Not all
Hazan,
Kadishim are.
Yeah, Tom.
Mourners Kaddish, right? Some of them are just Chazan.
there are 5 types of Kaddish.
I understood that's why.
Kaddish, that's the reason. That's not what it says, but it could be. Some people say that all the Kaddishs used to be the mourners Kaddish. The Kaddish at the cemetery, Lo Alenu. The Kaddish after a Siyum, they had a long Kaddish. The Shabbat Av, we have a long Kaddish. Some people say that was always the Kaddish, but they cut it down, they trimmed it. We were censored by the Christians. And they didn't like us talking about all this stuff. We're going to have the Beit HaMikdash back and everything. And so they cut the Kaddish down to where we have it now. But by Siyum and by Le'aleh and Le'avdil, grave, we do the long Kaddish, right?
The long Kaddish is not just Nas.
A lot of people, I've read, a lot of people say that is the Kaddish.
But I'm just saying, I thought the custom was the long Kaddish.
On Shabbat Av.
No, during this.
Siyum? It was.
Slowly down.
Siyum laws I can know. Siyum, we say the long one. Okay, what's better, mashlim or maftir? What is it? Is better than going up mashlim? The niftar, the deceased person, is enjoying the maftir more than if he went up to mashlim. Even if you lose the kaddish, it's still better to go maftir if you know how. It's mashma from the words of the Zohar. Who is this? Ben Ish Chai, yeah? Ben Ish Chai writes the same thing. Okay. Therefore, on Shabbat before the yortzeit, you should try to purchase maftir and go up. If the person says straight out, the person knows how to read it, it's wasting brachot. And the whole congregation will say if you mess it up. Okay, let's skip.
So what if you delegate to get?
If you give it to someone else, that's good.
Do you still get
You get the credit, but the beracha, there's a bunch of berachot after the haftarah. Long but I want to go. A lot of my kids are public school kids. The father, they want to do haftarah. So I tell the father, practice the berachah. Happy to read it. Okay, yeah, let's see. It's yeah. Now he has another question. One more question he has over here. We mentioned it before. What if the yartzeit is Shabbat? Which haftarah should I go? The before or on the Shabbat of the yartzeit? That's the question. V'im hal yom ha'ptira b'Shabbat. If the yartzeit is on Shabbat itself, Rashi, who wrote the Kaf HaHaim, one of the Kaf HaHaim, he writes, Shi'aleh maftir b'Shabbat hakodem. You should go to the maftir the first, not on the yartzeit, before. And it's a very big question. The Maaseh Abraham writes, Shebe'ofen kazeh, in this circumstance, yesh lekro sheteh tarot b'shtei Shabbatot. He should try to go up for both, the maftir before and on the yartzeit itself. It says over here, I'm going to skip ahead. Right before. Okay. Make the week before. Okay, let's skip. The bottom line is this. The loved ones from the week began. Before the yortzeit. We don't hold like the Arizal, who only did that. Regarding the maftir, not the Shabbat hakodem. The bottom line is the maftir of that day is better than the maftir before.